Welcome to the Social University podcast. We are so glad you're joining us today because we want to help business owners, entrepreneurs, and people just like you who want to build their business online. Listen, if we can do it, you can do it. So let's go.
Good morning. I'm Karen Trottis with Social U. It is that time of the week. Every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central, we come to you live so we can talk about social media tips, tricks, and trends. This month is Mental Health Month, so that is what we are focusing on for May. Last week, in case you weren't with us, we talked about how to kind of keep your mental health around social media, which can be a challenge, as you guys I'm sure know. Today, we're going to talk about bandwidth, burnout, and being proactive. Next week, we're going to talk about how to take a break from social media without damaging your business. And the last week of this month, we're going to talk about dealing with negative comments, trolls, and reviews. Yeah, that's always a challenge, especially as a business owner. You definitely get defensive when someone attacks you personally or attacks your business. We want to talk about that and the best way that you can handle it so you don't lose your mind or damage your reputation online. So let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about bandwidth, burnout, and being proactive, ways to get ahead. So, okay, what do I mean when I mean bandwidth? Bandwidth is basically what you can handle without losing your mind. There are so many different social media channels. There are there's a top 10 of readily available, used every day social media channels. You can see multiples of them represented behind me here on the wall. You do not have to be all things to all people. You do not have to be everywhere, everything all at once. Pick your best representation and focus on that specifically. It is better to have two platforms that you are very good at, that represent you well, that target your ideal client or your ideal community, than it is to be on every platform poorly. So you need to take a look at your target demographic and focus on the platforms that represent you the best. Now, do we have clients that are on multiple platforms, up to 5? Yeah, we do. And the reason we do is because they don't have to work, that their bandwidth isn't even a factor in that puzzle, in that issue, that it allows them to kind of offload that mental capacity onto us. And that's what we're for. But if you're a business owner, you wear a ton of hats. You're the janitor, you're the cheerleader, you're the accountant, you're HR, and you're the marketing team. Pick your battles. What works for you? Pick 2. 2 is great. If you can handle 3, 3 is great. But again, I'd much rather see you handle 2 really well than 5 poorly. Facebook is almost essential just because the whole world is on there. But if you are targeting a younger demographic, Facebook might be a waste of time. It might be better for you to go directly to Instagram and TikTok. It just depends on your audience. So once you've made your choice, it gets easier for you to have clarity on what you're going to do with that choice. Okay, now let's talk about how to avoid social media burnout. And I'm talking about it from a social media manager's perspective or a small business owner's perspective. How do you avoid burnout when you literally have to be online for your job or for your business every single day? I can tell you one of the things that I personally do, if it's not work related, I might not look at it for days. I've had multiple people say, I sent you a message on Instagram. Did you send it to my business account? I'm not looking at it. It helps save my sanity. I can't be in and out of multiple platforms every single day personally when I have to do it professionally. So that's just one of the things that I do. It's part of my boundaries, which is number 1. You have to set boundaries and be able to step away. I do not look at social media platforms. Once I cross the threshold to my bedroom, I'm done. I don't get on social media platforms when I know I'm going to bed. I also use the setting on my phone that changes the light. At 10 p.m. it changes and it doesn't change back until 7 a.m. I have to have, I don't want that disruptive, the blue light, you know what I'm talking about. So you can change that setting on your phone so that it protects you and it helps you long-term. Know your boundaries. If you know that you're going to go down a YouTube rabbit hole, maybe remove the app from your phone and only use it when you're on your laptop. There's different ways to do it. You know yourself better than anybody, but set your boundaries. If part of your boundaries, yes, Jason, 100% boundaries are super important. If you know that you're going to go down the rabbit hole on TikTok, Make it a reward, or only do it while you're working out, or only do it during the commercials on, oh yeah, nobody watches commercials anymore. But you guys set your own boundaries that work for you. Number 2, you can reduce posting temporarily. If you're going through a particularly stressful time, you don't want to come off of everything so that there's this big gap in your posting. But if you're posting 5 times a day, every single week, that's a lot. Almost for any of the platforms, that's almost, it's not too much, but it is a lot. So if you're starting to have burnout and you need some relief, only post twice a week for a month. Only post 4 times instead of 5 times. Pull back your posting frequency to save your mental health. Number 3, you need to have a realistic expectation of how long it takes you to actually do the tasks that you have assigned yourself to do. One of the best things I can tell you for that, there's this wonderful app, it's free, called Toggle, Toggl, there's no E. And it will help you figure out how long you're spending on each item. You may, in your head, think, I can totally do that in an hour, when in reality, it takes you 2.5 hours. Having a realistic understanding helps you set a realistic expectation. So once you know how long it takes you, if you know for a fact it takes you an hour to schedule all of Facebook posts, then only allowing yourself 30 minutes is going to, you're automatically signing yourself up for stress and burnout. Realistic expectations, realistic goals. Number 4, know what makes you money. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you, of course, I have favorites. I love TikTok. It's my favorite. I love YouTube. Does it make me money? Yeah, we get leads for both of those platforms, so it makes sense for me to spend time there. If I'm spending 2 hours a week posting on Instagram and we're not getting any conversions, why would I continue to do that? If I am posting an hour a week on Pinterest and we're not getting any views, we're getting 100 views a month, why would we do that? So you have to look at those analytics and figure out what works for you, so you know if you need to continue down that avenue. I'm always hesitant to tell you to totally abandon a platform, but you do need to know where the money comes from so you'll know which path to take. Number 5, recognize when you need help. That was a very difficult decision for me to make when I was a newer business owner, to make that decision. I think I'm drowning. I think I need a lifeline. I think I'm going to need to hire somebody. My first hire was very difficult and painful for me. 1, because I waited too long, and 2, because I waited too long. You need to know when you've reached your breaking point where you need help. And you don't have to go from 0 to 60. It could be very simple. If you're posting on Facebook and Instagram and you love the Instagram part and Facebook makes you cringe or throw up, then stay away from that. Offload that one thing to help save your own sanity. If you know that writing blogs stresses you out, and because it stresses you out, you push it back, or wait to the last minute, or it's only 300 words, that's the thing you need to give away. So if it stresses you out, there's a reason I'm not a bookkeeper. That is not my forte. There's a reason we have a bookkeeper who I love dearly and answers all my bookkeeping questions and makes sure that I don't go to jail. It causes me so much stress. Is it worth it to have somebody to do that for me? 100%. So recognize when you need assistance and actually get that assistance. Number 6, I kind of combine those. Number 5 is recognize that you need help. And number 6 is actually get the help. If you know that you're struggling with 3 platforms and you need to give one away, give one away. We can do that. We can do a single platform. We can do 2 platforms. If you're the salesperson for your company and you're the one that generates the income and you're the one that makes the money, spend your time making the money and give away everything that doesn't make you money. And that doesn't have to be necessarily work-related activities. If you know it takes you 2 hours to mow your lawn or cut your grass, and you could be generating $150 an hour of income in those 2 hours, is it cheaper to pay somebody to do it? 100%. So you have to kind of evaluate, does this make me money? Is it pushing my business forward? Does it make most sense for me to offload it to something else? That is truly, deeply a lifesaver. Number 7, creating automatic replies. It is totally okay not to check your email every 5 minutes. Check it once a day and be done. If you really need to check it twice a day, if you're working on a project, email is not the method of communication anyway. You need to be in Slack or Asana or Trello, where you can get those notifications directly to your phone if you're in the middle of a time-sensitive project. but set those boundaries. I only check my social email once a day. I only check my speakeasy email once a day. I cannot live for the ding. Every time my computer dings or every time my phone dings, I'm not running to see who it is. I can't do that. It distracts me, especially if I'm in the middle of trying to create material for classes or for training. It helps keep me focused. Number 8, again, I've touched on this briefly already. Reevaluate your platforms. Take a look at what's actually working for you so you can focus on that. Number 9, and this is part of the being proactive. This is how you get ahead so that and essentially that's what we've done. I've broken this out into 3 pieces. The first part, we talked about bandwidth and what works for you. The rest of these is burnout and how to avoid burnout. From this point forward, we're going to talk about the proactive part. How do you proactively prepare yourself so that you can prevent burnout long term? Well, you need a content calendar. Nothing is more stressful than, oh my gosh, it's 4:00 on a Tuesday afternoon. I've got an appointment coming in 5 minutes. I haven't posted anything in 2 days. What am I going to do? A content calendar helps you escape that. If you have a 2-week rotation, and we have a free content calendar template on our website, go to our website homepage and download it, totally free and customizable. So you can go in there and ideally testimonials twice a month. That's an awesome thing to have. Tips. You want to educate, inform, entertain, ask questions, answer questions. This is the day that I post video. If you know this first and third Tuesday of every month are your testimonial days, you can go in at one time and make 6 testimonials at one time and schedule them ahead for the next 3 months, and you're done. So much easier when you know the content that you need to create versus just a kind of random willy-nilly, what am I going to post today? Plus, if it's not feeding your strategy, you're not actually helping yourself long-term. So having that strategy with that content plan in place, one of the best things you can do to prevent burnout. Number 10, create a crisis plan. Clients that we've had for years, and we have clients that we've had for years and years, we have foul weather plans in place. And this is Alabama, you're just as likely to close down early for snow as you are for a tornado. So we already have those graphics generated in their client folders and ready to go, so that if you're in the middle of your business and you know you have to close early and go home because there's a tornado warning, it's a very simple thing to pull it out of that folder and post it. Very simple thing. If you have whatever is considered a crisis for your company, and of course that depends on what you do. That's funny. Becky's crisis plan, call Karen. That's funny. And also true. But like when COVID hit, we sat down and made crisis plans for our client base so that we knew what we needed to do and they knew what they needed to do. We have protocols in place for PR emergencies. Knowing how you're going to respond helps you long term and alleviate stress. That's why I want to focus on negative reviews and negative comments. Knowing how you're going to respond to that alleviates the stress of being in the moment going, what am I going to do with this terrible review? We're going to help you with that. Okay, number 11. Woo. Verify your current systems that are in place. Does your intake process actually work? Is it effective? Do you need to edit that? If you got hit by a bus tomorrow, could somebody come in and pick up what you were doing and execute effectively? That's the kind of thing you need to ask yourself. Does every team member have what they need to move forward if something happens? If there was I learned this the hard way on my own business. If there's an emergency with a team member, is everything in place where another team member can walk in behind them and pick it up and have this smooth transition? 100%. It wasn't always like that. It is now, but it wasn't always. Again, I have to learn everything the hard way. So knowing what you're going to do in case of emergency is great, but having a system in place that your process is in place and established is the first step to avoiding the emergency altogether. Number 12, schedule all of your posts ahead of time. It is the best, most wonderful feeling ever to know you're on vacation and you don't have to touch it. Now, you have a couple of platforms that make you post in the moment. TikTok, bless their heart, you have to do it this day of. So if you're going on vacation, that's when you turn to your team member, you turn to maybe another business owner. You guys trade off. I'm going on vacation this week. If you'll post this for me, I'll do yours for you while you're out of town. Very simple. Or that might be the week you need a virtual assistant, or that might be the week that you need us to help you post. Schedule it as much as you can. Facebook allows you to schedule inside Facebook. Facebook allows you to schedule your Instagram. You can now use Tailwind, of course, to schedule on Pinterest. You can use Later and Hootsuite, great scheduling tools, but every single platform allows you to schedule, except for TikTok. And Reels, you still have to do Reels. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. You have to do Reels in the moment. You could schedule stories, but you have to do Reels in the moment, sadly. Hopefully that will change. We'll see. Okay, and the very last one, maintain healthy habits. If it works for you and it doesn't burn you out, it's probably okay to keep doing it. If you're doing it and you know you're creating your own problem, maybe reviewing that and putting a stop to it is a good idea. So do maintain those healthy habits. Do maintain those boundaries. Do evaluate your business statistics once every quarter to make sure you're on the right page and you're going in the right direction. You have to check those things to know if you're doing it right. And that is it for me today. We will be back again next week. And let's see, next week, what are we talking about next week? How to take a break without hurting your business. Vacation time is right upon us. What do? How do you get around being off for a week or 2 weeks or even a month without damaging your online presence? We're going to address that all next week. As always, if you have a question or an issue, you can leave a comment or send us a direct message. We're always happy to answer those and jump in and give our 2 cents. Me in particular, I'm all about the 2 cents. But until next week, I am Karen Taradis with Social U, and I'm here to help.
Thanks for joining us for the Social University podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media at Stay Social U. That's the letter U. And we will talk to you next week. Remember, you've got this.